Downtown Fargo, where culture, creativity, and community collide. You've heard the headlines. Now hear what's really happening. Bringing the best of Broadway direct to you. The stories, the people, and the places that make downtown the heartbeat of our city. This is Rocky's Downtown Hour with Rocky Schneider.
Happy Friday, everybody. This is Rocky Schneider. Hope everybody's having a happy new year. Happy 2026. Had a good holiday season. I'm back in studio and excited to be back here. It's a good time to sort of recap what 2025 meant to all of us, what's going on, what look ahead at 2026, what new things are in place. But I have a couple things I want to reflect on, because I think it's always a good time to sit back and have the lessons learned and, recap the excitement. I was trying to think back to sort of what were our wins in 2025, and I sat down with a couple people and had a beverage over the weekend, or over the week, I guess, off, and talked about what were our wins in 2025. It's a long year to remember back to last winter and think about stuff that happened. But just some of the big things. Obviously, we had a successful events season. Downtown is definitely where people show up. I think when you bring a guest to town or you want to go to an event, our events are at capacity, and it's fun to see that regardless of the challenges we addressed in 2025 as well. We still saw people, sell out our events. I know just within the DCP where I work, we had record sales at our coffee and cocoa crawl. Our street fair had more vendors than ever. And it was fun to see 100,000 people at the street fair over the 3 days. We're gearing up for our 50th annual street fair coming in July. So we'll have some new fun activations as part of that. We saw Broadway Square had more activated days than ever this summer. It was fun to see kids out at the splash pad. I know Chris Kindomart had 19,000 attendees. About 20% of those were from out of town, over 50 miles away. So it shows that people don't just come to downtown locally when you have a guest. It's when you're looking for something to do in the region. Downtown Fargo is still unique. It's still our regional downtown. Holiday Lights Parade, despite the cold, we had 9,000 people there. The Red River Market had record-breaking sales this summer, and I think it's become the staple Saturday event all summer long. We see things like the Blenders Farewell Tour sold out, I think, 8 shows in downtown. It just activated that. Saw the Civic Center host a concert again, which I think had been, 8 years or something like that since the last concert there. Young Gravy packed the house, and it was a good time. And so it shows the Civic Center still has some life in it. Takes some unique shows to do that. Budweiser brought their Clydesdales, and they didn't want to go anywhere else other than right at Broadway Square and 2nd Avenue there in downtown Fargo. And that was a lot of fun to see that kind of historic keep coming back to the same place. And so it's fun to just have downtown be that center where people show up. We had some other big wins. I know Pride events returning to downtown Fargo was a big win for us. That was super activated. It was fun to see them because they activated Civic Plaza, which hadn't been done for an event in a long time. And so not only did the market go on that Saturday during Pride, but they also had all of Civic Plaza and all of the City Hall parking lot full of vendors. And so that was a unique thing to bring back. We saw the marshmallow eating contest that Folkways held on Broadway, and they're still, I believe, in the running for the record. But the record, if you're looking to set a record officially with the Guinness Book of World Records, it's a process. And so unless you have a lot of money to expedite it, it's going to take a while to figure out. But we think we broke the record for the most s'mores eaten. I think one of the biggest things that were underrated, the last 2 years in 23 and 24, the Island Park pool was closed. And people don't realize what that means to downtown Fargo. And we saw that show up this year with record-breaking attendance. They have somewhere between like 50 and 60,000 visits every summer to that pool. And so if even a fraction of that ends up going downtown to shop, to eat, bringing families downtown, it changes the whole sort of vibe of downtown Fargo when that pool is open. It becomes a huge attraction. And obviously the pool is great. If you haven't been on the Fly Time slide yet, that shoots you off. It's a lot of fun. I think it's more fun to watch people go off of it, and it's just a good time. They also had an adults night, which hope they do again too, because I know a lot of adults didn't feel comfortable going to the pool during the day and that sort of thing. So they had an adult night where you didn't have to push kids aside to use the Fly Time slide. You could just get back to your kid fun-free days, and you wake up with stiff joints or the next day, but it was a lot of fun. We had Miss Downtown Fargo for the first time ever, and that was a lot of fun. Bryn is crowned our Miss Downtown Fargo, and she is hopefully taking that to the state and hopefully nationals, and she's great talent. She's an NDSU student, and you'll see her around downtown advocating for her position and also for downtown and what that means. She's a out-of-town student, so it's fun to see an out-of-town student come to NDSU and make that connection stronger with our downtown. We had a lot of holiday pop-up shops. I don't know when they're still open through. I should really have looked that up, but if you haven't been to the reindeer room, which was in the boiler room, it was a lot of fun down there. They had a ton of, presents hanging on the ceiling and decorations. I kind of hope they keep doing that for every holiday. There was also I forget what the other one was called, the Jingle Bell room or something like that in the Avalon space, the Sinclair building. And that was really cool. They had a good time with that. And so, downtown doesn't just succeed by accident. It's because people show up and want to be together and want to be downtown. It's what makes us unique in downtown is we all share the right of way. We all share the same sidewalk, the same parking, that same customer experience. It's unlike anywhere else in town, really, where you can show up and, see a bunch of different stores. I always say that one person's customer, is never just one person's customer, because they'll probably walk by something else and shop somewhere else. And it's really what that experience is. You can go out to dinner and get dessert somewhere else, and then you can go shopping afterwards or a drink afterwards. It's not like maybe a suburban restaurant where you're probably having drinks and then dinner, then dessert all at one place, and then you get back in your car and go home. You can get out once and shop at several stores, and it's a lot of fun. We also have parking ramps downtown, which make it unique. We had a brand new one open up on NP Avenue, which I think once NP Avenue also opened up, which I think is a big advancement. But we have the Fargo Moorhead Community Theater that's going to open up there sometime in 2026, and that's really going to activate it. But if you haven't checked out the new ramp, the technology is great. If you're afraid of ramps or they confuse you or whatever, I'll be a testament. I park in one every day, and so far this winter, I've never had to clear snow off my car. And so I think ramps are great. They're, somewhat temperature controlled. They keep the frost and snow off your car, and it's more secure. They have cameras and everything else. So anyways, they are dark and they're a little different. And then, you can't see maybe where you're going. You have to turn a lot of corners. They seem tight, but trust me, parking ramps are preferred. They're better for the city property value wise. They consolidate a lot of infrastructure needs. And so check them out. They're different, but we need to keep getting people down there. I always hear about parking in downtown Fargo, and I remind people, we put on the street fair where we close 10 blocks downtown where there's no parking on 10 blocks. And we have 100,000 people over 3 days that come, and everybody seems to find their way there. And so if you can do that during the 3 busiest days of the year, closing 10 blocks, you can find parking anytime. Just drive around the block, drive into a parking ramp. There's, I think 5 public parking ramps now. Depending on the time of day, you can go and get free parking and have your car protected, and then go out and check out the stores. We had a few pop-up stores come up on Broadway that I hope stay open longer. We have a bunch of new stores opening. I know the Little Bodega on 2nd Avenue just opened and had a sandwich there, I think on Monday this week. I don't know what day of the week it is, but my show is on Friday, so I know it's Friday, but it's been a weird week. But I think earlier this week I had a sandwich there. It was delicious. It was nice to have another sandwich place. Maria's is a new Mexican place on MP Avenue that just opened. Haven't been there yet, but I've had their food truck, and it was delicious. And so I'm excited for that addition to downtown Fargo. And I think with the FMCT opening up on MP Avenue, we're going to see some stores opening up across from them as well. I know there's a new juice place across the street there on MP Avenue that's opened. And so check it out. We always got new stuff coming in. Joy Studios is on Broadway. That was a pop-up shop for the season. They also have another location downtown. Aying, who works there, is great. She'll tell you a long story about her products and make it really unique, and it's a fun experience. But anyways, I hope everybody had a good Christmas and got everything they wanted. But if you didn't, we got a lot of shopping. It's a long winter in January and February, and I track a lot of traffic data, both pedestrian and traffic and visitor data. And it's interesting because the sidewalk on Broadway, as you'll hear me say a lot, is the busiest outdoor path in the state of North Dakota. And when you look at the traffic difference between summer and winter, it doesn't really drop off all that much, which is really unique. You look at every other path in Fargo and you see the parks or the river trails, they drop off quite a bit in winter, but downtown's still pretty active. So if you want to get out and see people, Broadway Square has, activation every day with the skating rink. It's been a lot of fun. Get your own little Hallmark movie out there. And so we're just looking forward to more great fun. And coming up here on the show, we have Lana from 1889, the 1889. And if you haven't heard about that, you'll hear all about it. But a lot of classes coming up. It's a good way to get out with your friends, your date night, with your team, or just come out solo and learn a new skill. And we'll talk more when we get back after the break. Welcome back to Rocky's Downtown Hour. I'm joined in studio with Lana from the 1889. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, why don't you tell us all about what is the 1889?
Well, we are a unique venue. We do cooking classes, crafting classes, and we also rent our space out. So we operate out of the oldest brick building in Fargo. It was built in 1878. We've got some great photos in the space of what it was in the past, and it's just a space that's been around forever. It's kind of fun.
And so where did the name, the 1889, come from? Just from the building date?
No. The 1889 is the year that North Dakota became a state.
Oh, perfect.
And so it's the year we became a community. So just trying to hone in on, we want our space to be a place where people are together doing things off their phones, in person, spending time, quality time together.
Yeah, and I was getting ready for the show today, and I was pulling up your list of classes, and I was going to just pick a couple that were coming up, and you have 15 classes in January, and I was impressed that's a lot going on.
Yeah,
It's a lot of options, and it's not just like the same one 15 times. It's like 15 different classes, so it's really something for everybody.
There is, yes. We try to keep it diverse. We have different instructors, so you don't get the same person and the same experience every time. So we try to keep it for everybody.
So who is your audience?
For everybody.
Everybody.
We do kids classes. We can have kids come with parents. So we've had classes where we have 6-year-olds with a parent all the way up to 80, just depending on what the experience is. Some classes might not be suitable for all ages, but I mean, if kids can cook, we want them in there cooking.
So you have, I'd say probably mostly cooking related classes, but it's a variety. So do you have a full kitchen there too, or how's the cooking work?
Yeah, we have a kitchen that is designed. I'm a former teacher, so I taught in high school, taught cooking classes. So designed loosely after that, but a space where everybody's kind of cooking together around one big island. So you're kind of meeting other people, and then everything is designed after a home kitchen, not industrial. So it's stuff that you would have in your own home.
So how do people sign up?
On our website, you can buy tickets.
What is the website?
The1889fargo.com.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was trying to figure out which one I could bring either my team at work to, or bring my daughter to, or my wife for a date night. And I really have a tough time deciding. I mean, you have, ratatouille you can make. You have crochet. You have drunken noodle, macarons. You also had a Snoop Dogg classes, which I didn't go to, but I thought that was a lot of fun. How does that work when you do a themed class like that?
We just cook out of his cookbook. He's written 3, so we'll pick maybe one cookbook or something out of each one or 2, and then we kind of cook those items based out of his cookbook. It's a great time, and then we play his music, of course.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
So maybe not kids if they don't mind. We don't have the filter on, but
yeah, it's fun. If you watch the Vikings game over Christmas, they had Snoop on the halftime show, and it's like everybody in their, 40s or something, or 50s where you're jamming out to Snoop Dogg. So it's a lot of fun to try to relive our younger days with that too. But what are your favorite classes personally?
I like to teach the gluten-free just because I have celiac disease and so do my kids. So I like to teach those. But I think some of the most rewarding are some of the classes where people have to do things together, like a pasta class where they're rolling it out and doing things that they rely on each other. And so you see connection between either strangers, if they're cooking with somebody they don't know, or if it's a couple that comes in, or even if it's friends. It's just kind of fun to see people connect over food because they're cooking together in a space, which is something that we've done forever.
Yeah. I mean, I think cooking is one of those things that has traditionally brought people together. It's family meal time or date night, or it's where you have time to both do something and still talk to each other and have conversation. But as you know, bonding happens when you get to both do something together, either success or failure, of what you're making.
Exactly.
You can kind of bond through those shared scars, I guess, through that process. But yeah, I have a coworker who's gluten-free too. So I saw you had the best brunch gluten-free on January 18th.
Yeah.
I'm really curious, what's in a gluten-free brunch?
We just try to do some things that maybe gluten-free people don't think they can do anymore or have anymore. So we've got a great popover recipe.
Ooh,
And
I
so
love popovers.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of people that are gluten-free are like, knowing what type of flour to use or what's going to work best. I do a lot of experimenting with that because I do this job. So then I can talk through that, and then people can eat something really great.
You know, my mom used to make me popovers because it was my favorite. I think she bought me a popover pan I've never used. So I feel like
you need it.
I feel like I should probably do that. But yeah, I love that idea. And I was just really curious because we make fun of our coworker for being gluten-free, which probably isn't all that appropriate to make fun of, but
it's okay. We can take it.
It's good. I always forget too, because I'll bring in like Sandy's donuts some morning and then I'll be like, oh, oops, sorry about that.
Yeah. Most gluten-free people are like, whatever.
Yep.
It's okay.
You get used to it.
You do.
So how do classes work when someone walks in for the class?
Well, they'll walk in. We try to greet them at the door, make them feel welcome, check them in, kind of just give them the lay of the land, how we'll cook for the night, where the bathrooms are, where to put their coats, and then they can grab water or buy a drink if they want until everybody gets there. When everybody gets there, everybody's cooking in groups of 2. So we have them at a station and we do some introductions and we get going and we cook. Sometimes it's courses where you'll stop cooking, sit down, come back and eat. But you're always going to eat what you make, and then if there's leftovers, you can take home. But we want you to enjoy, relax, and not do the dishes.
That's the best selling point right there.
That's the best part. They love.
You get to do something, you get to eat, and then not have to do the dishes. That's perfect.
Yep.
But I always think that's the biggest barrier for anything new is that first time, like walking into somewhere new. And so it seems very welcoming and easy, and you can go by yourself too, right? You have a lot of people just sign up for something, learn a new skill.
Yep, we do. And we love that because we know that there are people that don't always have somebody to do something with, and we're happy to have them come in and make them feel welcome.
So I actually didn't know you. So when you do like the Indian cooking one, you eat while you're there too?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I always eat on site.
Because I think I was looking at the Indian one because my mom lived in India for a while, and I thought that would be fun to go to. Indian comfort food.
Yeah. Akanksha, she's one of our newer instructors to us, and she's from India, so she's the expert.
And we don't have an Indian food place in downtown Fargo. There's what we need.
Oh, I did not know that.
I know. And we have, 4 or 5 Indian food places in town, but none in downtown Fargo. So I'm trying to recruit them. So if somebody wants to open up a downtown store that's Indian themed, I'd be all about it. I'd love it. So what else? I only pulled up January's classes, but what classes after January? Does it change throughout the season, or is it pretty seasonal?
Yeah, it'll change throughout every month. Some things we repeat, like the Tour of Italy will sell out. It's such a popular class just because it's 3 sauces and homemade pasta. So we put that on almost every month. But we've already, I think, Marry Me Chicken is sold out for Valentine's Day, and I'll put another Valentine's Day one, but the Cocoa Crawl's on the same day.
Yes.
So we've been processing how to do our Cocoa Crawl and then roll into a class because those are 2 big events. So we'll have a Valentine's one. So we try to theme them. People don't like to do soups in the summer as much. So
no, that makes, I don't make soup in the summer, but yeah, I should plug our coffee and cocoa crawl because the 1889 is one of our stops. Yeah. And so if you're looking for something to do on Valentine's Day, early afternoon, you can get a ticket online at downtownfargo.com. And I think it's $30 ticket, $25 or $30. I know we had 2 different rates there. It might have gone up now, but you get a handcrafted mug from Hayden at Living the Dream Pottery. And we'll sell out about 1,000 tickets, and 30 plus stores will sign up, and you get to go around and get free fills of coffee or cocoa or some other hot drink at all the different ones. We have the trolley that goes around from stop to stop, or just walk. Hopefully it's nice that day. Called ahead for nice weather, but we'll see what we get. But it's interesting. It'll be on Valentine's Day this year, and we sort of picked that versus moving it. It doesn't always align with that, but thought it'd be a fun date night or just a reason to go out with a Galentine's Day theme. Or last year, I think I ran into a family that had gone for 3 straight years, and so they had pictures online of every year they all come together. So it became a tradition for them. So it's always fun. We appreciate you signing up for that too. And where do people, what's your website again? The 1889fargo.com.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And you have your whole calendar for the year. Obviously you still build that out, but
we try to stay a month and a half ahead, just because our instructors, they get to choose when they work and what they put on. So I'm kind of at their mercy, but I ask them to go out as far as they can. Yeah. But they have lives. So
I know, yeah. If I'm planning a month ahead, I'm doing well. So it's one of those things where I think we're probably all in that, especially right now where we all felt like we got vacation and now we realize that we have to go back to work soon. And it's one of those things where it's like, hey, back at it. Everybody at work probably isn't working quite as hard this last week as maybe they should be. I think that's probably true across the board. And so we're looking forward to that. January's the time, definitely slower around here. So if you're looking for something to do or a reason to get out coming up in the winter, I always say it's good to force yourself to go outside when it's this cold and see friends, because in January, everyone gets lonely. And leading into Valentine's Day, obviously, there's a loneliness factor there too. And so it's a good reason to schedule something with a friend you haven't seen in a while, or take your parents out, take a date out, bring your kids. And the 1889fargo.com. We're going to talk more about it when we're back from the break in a couple minutes here. Welcome back to Rocky's Downtown Hour. Wishing everybody a happy 2026. Recapping the year in 2025 and looking ahead. And looking ahead, especially for this month, we have Lana with the 1889. It's a class location downtown that offers classes from cooking to crochet to mug making. And we're excited about having them in downtown Fargo. And if you haven't seen their website, look at it, the 1889fargo.com. And the amount of classes on there is just incredible to me. And it's always something I look to try to do in January and February as a reason to get out and meet people, be with people, and pick a class. There's all sorts of ones on here. Lana, why do people come to these classes generally? You kind of say it's for all types.
It is.
But like, what are people looking for when they come? Are they looking to socialize, looking to learn something?
You know, everybody's got a different reason. Sometimes it's to socialize. And then we've found probably that's the most common thing, is people coming with their friends. Reason to get out, spend time together, quality time where you're doing something and not just sitting at a table waiting. There's other things to do in town too, but this is just a unique thing to do together. Some people really want to learn, like our sourdough classes. People are there to learn sourdough.
Yeah, sourdough is its own thing.
Yeah. So it just depends, you know, what they're there for. Macarons is another one. People are there to learn how to make a macaron. So it's a little more, I don't want to say intense, but maybe the feel is a little different because it's more of a learner than an experience.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I love that. So what classes don't you have that you really want? Like, is there something out there that you're trying to find a teacher for, or something that's, you know, a skill in town that you're like, oh, I really wish we could do that here?
Oh gosh, that's a really good question. I think I would love to do more Native American cooking because I think that's an art that's local, but I don't know how to do that, right? My background, it's not my background.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of maybe local flair that people can go, you know, foraging. I would love to do some more foraging stuff too and learn. I would personally like to learn that too.
Yeah, mushroom hunting,
yeah,
those sort of things. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not my strength, but somebody out there has a strength in that. I'd love them to come in.
Yeah, I regret it because I've never been invited again, but I got invited once from somebody in town that goes mushroom foraging, and I couldn't make it. And then apparently once I said no, I was off the invite list or something because I never got invited again. But I always thought that would be cool. Yeah, I love morels, and so I know the people go out and they like have their secret spots that they don't tell anybody about.
Yeah, and we have great things here that that's available to us to cook with. I think it'd just be, that's what I would love to have more of.
So if someone thinks they have this ability and want to contact you, they're open to just writing in and saying, hey, I got an idea for a class.
Yeah.
And then you obviously go through a process. And so.
Yep. We're always open to new ideas.
Yeah. Native American cooking. I'm trying to think. I know T's Tacos in downtown is a Native American business. But yeah, there's not really another that I can think of, a Native American restaurant. I know sometimes they have specials. I'd love to see one with Andrea from formerly Burn Bombs, who just released her cookbook.
She's coming in February.
Oh, there we go. See, I should have looked ahead of February.
No, it's not on yet. We just confirmed
it.
Yep. And this season has been a little crazy with Christmas and New Year's, but now.
So what is she planning to make? Because Andrea is great.
She's going to do bagels. She's got,
okay.
It's going to be a brunch. So I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
You didn't even know that.
No, this is perfect. No, I just, local cookbook, I have one.
You get the cookbook with the class.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
But you can still come and get another cookbook.
You can. It's a good gift. You can re-gift it to somebody then.
And then you get to learn from her directly. I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, I really miss that. Nova is a great restaurant and a spot, but it's you know, Burn Bombs was its own staple, and my family went there all the time, getting the knishes and the bagel chips and everything in between.
I know.
And they had this breakfast sandwich that I still crave. It had like the bacon schmear on it, and it was delicious. There's nothing the same as that. But I was amazed at her cookbook, though. Her cookbook literally has like every menu item that she served. It felt like she didn't hold back any secrets. It's like all out there.
Yeah.
which is what you want in a cookbook. But
yeah. And people are surprised when they come into class too, like, can we take the recipes? And we're like, yeah, we want you to cook at home.
Right, yeah.
That's exactly why we're here.
Right.
Take it.
Well, that's fun. Okay. What day is that? Now I need to look it up.
You know, I'm going to have to look. It is on a Saturday in February, but you're going to have to stay on the website because I can't remember off the top of my head. I apologize.
All right. The 1889 Fargo. I'm going to sign up. Hopefully it's not on the 14th.
It's not on the 14th.
Okay, good. Because I'm busy that day with the...
Yeah, me too.
All right. So what are some, if you had any like marriage proposals or something like, you know, what when you think back to the classes, what's been like the best classes where something fun's happened or just seen people smile?
We've had a first date that turned into a marriage, and they came back and did engagement photos in the space, and we were so honored. That was just lovely to watch, and they're married now.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And we've had weddings in there, so that's fun. We say that every day is like a celebration.
Yep.
Somebody's coming in for a birthday or it's given as a gift. So we get to celebrate with people every day. It's always a day of joy. We're pretty excited about that.
Yeah, no, that's, you know, I just work to make downtown something, and that's what I always want to say is like, as long as we're making memories for people, like that's all you want, for people to remember that, because it comes back to them, and they'll come back and re-celebrate that and make memories for other people, and kind of reinvesting in your community that way is sharing memories. And so that's fun. It's good to have a place that makes memories. What other classes have you had that stand out? Because obviously that's a big one, but I assume there's just a lot of family get-togethers. And
there are. Yeah, we've had private events where families come in, and those are always joyful to see families interact. Businesses too. It's fun to see how their team comes together and cooks together. We've had people get job connections.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it's such a small state, we think we're big, but really we're all connected.
Yeah.
So we did have a job connection, and the guy got the job later. So that was really joyful too, just to hear that those things happen, because people talk. There's always somebody that knows somebody.
No, it's just a good advice. I signed up to be a business mentor from NDSU because I have an MBA from there. And so they recruited me to do that, and it was my first time. And it's interesting talking to them about how they apply for jobs. And I'm like, well, what are you doing other than just hitting submit on your application? And he's like, well, nothing, you know, and he's like, I don't get many follow-ups, you know, or anything. And I just hired somebody, but we had 115 applicants. And I mean, if there's anything wrong, just before I even look at it, I just like reject them. Cause like, I don't have time to go through 115. So it's like, you got to have some reason to rise to the top. And my advice is you got to get out, network, and just tell people you're looking for a job, because that's usually all you need to get in the door anyways. You still got to win the role, but it might get you on a short list or an interview or something like that. And so yeah, these classes are probably a good reason to do that as well.
Yep. There's always a connection made, and getting out of your comfort zone and being with new people. It's really, I love it.
No, that's a fun idea. So why did you open up downtown?
Location. We had the concept, and then we knew the people that owned the building. They were friends of ours, and we walked in, and it did not look like it does now. It had been Wimmer's Jewelers, so it was a jewelry store, and we just knew that it was the location, that corner, and just you look down Broadway with the lights right now. It's beautiful. It's never boring. You had mentioned earlier on the show how busy downtown is. We could sit in our little corner with the windows and watch all day, and there will be people 24 hours a day walking past. It's just really fun to watch.
Yeah, 150,000 light bulbs, in case you were curious how many lights are on the trees in downtown Fargo. So there
That's
we go.
Awesome.
Yeah. I had somebody count them the other day. No, we guessed a little bit, but it was pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to look down. And obviously you have Island Park on the other side of you, which I think is our gem of our city too.
Yeah, it's just a busy spot, and it's fun to be in that kind of atmosphere and that energy.
Yeah. Well, good. I love that I like having you downtown. It's fun. So, you know, people always talk about what do you do in Fargo, and we're so bad at highlighting our own stuff here. It's like, I don't know, you know, or we complain, oh, it's cold, you know, all that stuff. But it's like, we all still choose to live here. So there must be a lot going on. And I always look at classes like this, and when people ask me, like, what do you do in January? You know, if you don't go snowshoeing or something, it's like you have these options to go to. Do you see like an influx or different seasonal when people sign up for classes, or is it kind of steady all year long?
November, December, January, I was busier just because holiday parties, of course, you know, we have a lot of that. But it stays pretty busy. Not everybody is a lake person, so we do kids camps in the summer, and those always fill up because kids want to learn to cook.
Yep.
Right. So we do a lot of those, but we've been pretty steady. But definitely December hurts because I see all the fun things there are to do.
Yeah, and you have to
And
work.
I can't go. So I think there's so many things to do in Fargo. I miss half of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm working.
No, that's fun though. You get to make memories for other people.
I do.
can-
I'm never sad, but
And so you mentioned work stuff a couple times about like company get-togethers and stuff. Is most of your classes on the website anyways are nights and weekends, which makes sense. That's when people aren't working themselves. But if you have an office party or something, you can call too and try to schedule a private class or something like that too.
we do things during the day for businesses. Yeah, so they might take off at noon, come to us, or take off at 2 and end their day with us. So we do plenty of that too.
What generally do businesses do for a class?
It's kind of a mix and match. Some want to do crafting, some want to do cooking, and some will do both. Well, they'll split the team in two. Well, they'll be upstairs doing some crafting, and some will be cooking. Like we do cookie decorating and ornaments, and then they flipped.
Oh, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, it was good.
And if they want to do that, it's on the 1889fargo.com, all your contact information.
Yep.
They can just
Reach out,
send a note.
and they can build their own experience.
So if you want to sign up for one of the classes, you want to pitch an idea to you or rent it for the day and do a class. So do you have like a list of teachers? So if a business contacts you and says, hey, I really want to do something, like what are the class options?
I do have a list of options that all of the teachers I currently have teach that are our most popular. I send those over usually and say, this is what your options are. But we can do anything you request. So because we're good at teaching, we can create and find the best recipe.
Fun. I love that. Well, thank you for being on the show today. And we're looking forward to a lot of classes and bringing people downtown in 2026. If anybody's looking again, it's the 1889fargo.com/classes if you want to go directly there. And they have 15 classes in January, or you can look ahead, go to the Burn Bombs class in February with
I'll get
Andrea.
that posted.
And once it's posted, sorry.
Yep. No,
Don't,
it's
don't
good.
go yet. Don't go yet. Yeah.
It's okay.
You can still go to the website and check it out. Otherwise, when we come back, we'll see you in a couple minutes. Welcome back. We're celebrating 2026 and looking backwards a little bit just to try to acknowledge the challenges we had downtown that we made some progress on and celebrate the events we had that were sold out and continue to look at all the fun things ahead in 2026. I think we have some big things coming in 2026. We have the 50th annual street fair. We have the Fargo Moorhead Community Theater going to open up with a brand new, I think it's a 400 seat theater right on MP Avenue. And just looking forward to that. That's going to bring classes and productions down there every day of the year. So we'll see a lot of fun there. It's a good way to connect Renaissance Hall to Broadway as well. And kind of now that MP Avenue is open again, have that major corridor get activated. Couple of big wins, I think, for us in downtown Fargo this year. We have a growing homelessness challenge in our community that I think the community is stepping up to help with and making donations to help. There's a lot of different nonprofits working on this, and I've been fundraising as well to help relocate the engagement center to what we're calling the Resource and Recovery Center over on First Avenue, and so we're still accepting funds for that. I know a lot of you have donated as well, and so we're continuing to raise money. We have a lot left to raise, but we've made some good progress too. A few $100,000 donations down to a couple $100 donations, and so it's been great, and love to see that work coming in. But I think moving the engagement center away from where the old police station toward the new police station, I guess, is going to be a huge victory, I think, for our downtown community and for the service providers as well. This was something that planned as far back as 2018, but when the current location was chosen in the middle of COVID, it was an empty building, and so it was an easy option for the city to put them in there, but it does not service anybody very well. Police stations are not welcoming by nature, and so to have a building that's supposed to be welcoming and service providers working there and them treating a lot of people that need help, it's not a very great building. I think you saw pictures in the forum last week. People are lining the hallways in there just sitting down because there's nowhere else to go. And so this new Resource and Recovery Center on First Avenue will be fitted up here soon. The lease has started already, so services will start to translate over there. There's 36 nonprofits that will have services in that location, some permanent, some temporary. But, I think it gets a lot of talk because the city ends up talking about it a lot at the city commission meetings, but it's sort of a city organized thing, but there's 36 nonprofits that utilize that space as well. It's the city that sort of makes that happen through the space itself, but the nonprofits are what operate out there are really doing the yeoman's work out there, and appreciate all they do. But moving that is huge. We also had, I guess what's called the homeless encampment ban earlier this year. I forget when that was, but I think it was in March, I think at the end of the winter season. But it was becoming a real problem in downtown and along the riverfronts, and it was extending into neighborhoods. It's not great to have anybody living outside, but it's part of it is you can't allow that to happen in public spaces like that. It leads to other problems. It leads to sanitary issues. It really kind of destroyed the activation of the riverfront, and so we were happy to see that ban go into effect. The city also then needed to do the other side of the effort to not just tell people they can't sleep outside. You had to find out how to activate things. I know the community stepped up with Churches United and other nonprofits to make sure there were spaces for them. And I think that effort is still ongoing. You see United Way and the Homeless Coalition to End Homelessness have their challenge going on, and they are starting to place people in housing. And so the timing is always tough between those two actions, where you gotta have regulatory order. There's got to be law and order out there, and you can't have people sleeping in public spaces, but you also got to provide something for them. You can't just disappear a problem. And so it's been a balance going back and forth on that, but I think that's a huge win. I know we had the great All-American Trail North with Greg Tveen and the Park District put together a mountain bike trail. That wouldn't have been possible the previous years with the camping going on down there. And so to see that space get activated again was a huge win for downtown Fargo. I love our riverfront trails. I think they're an amenity that makes downtown so unique. You look at the convention center being a finalist in downtown location, one of 4 that will be decided this year, but that was a win this year. Looking backwards to get that as a finalist location, being in the middle of our business improvement district, having the river trails just adjacent to where the convention center could be. I mean, those are amenities that we've spent millions of dollars to make active now, and to have that as an amenity along with the convention center is really going to show off our community to all the tourists coming in to conventions. And I think that's the obvious spot. There's no place like it. No other place has a business improvement district that, supports both the beautification and the cleanliness and public garbages, public bathrooms, all those things for tourists to come down and have that customer experience. We put so much into our downtown customer experience that I think the convention will have the best reception there. And those river trails are an important part of that. And that goes into everything we've done with the recovery center relocation and reclaiming the riverfront trails, not allowing public encampments. All those things will allow our customers and our visitors to come to Fargo to spend money to activate our economy. And hopefully that helps across the board as we celebrate our local businesses. We have some other momentum and development coming in. Obviously, I've mentioned the Fargo Moorhead Community Theater, but Sanford, just on the north side of downtown, they removed the Scandia Hotel, which was there. It's an old building that's now removed. It's sort of clear-cut that block. But they're going to put up the Peltier Lodge. And I forget the number, but Sanford Hospital brings in like 15,000 visitors every year to downtown. And a few thousand of those stay, right? They have long-term treatments and things. And so the Peltier Lodge will serve as kind of like a hotel for Sanford patients. And that will be built this year. And looking forward to that on 4th Street. I think that'll activate a lot of that area. I know we have some other things like Bushel claiming a floor of the Black Building's a new development that's coming in right on Broadway. We have Maria's and the Little Bodega. We have Joy Studio on Broadway, some others that have opened up that are really exciting. And I think we just see the continuation of classes like at the 1889. We see, the Jasper host a lot of events. We had a concert series this last year that the DCP co-hosted with the Jasper that we're looking forward to doing more concerts this year. In addition to that, we work with the Park District to run Broadway Square over the summer and with Folkways, and we have more concerts coming in. We had the Navy Band come last year. We'll have a concert series in the summer. We'll have concerts at the street fair, and we'll look to do more events at Broadway Square that bring people in. I think we had a lot of fun with those over the last year, and I think we're keep finding new ways to use Broadway Square as sort of that central kind of gathering point. In addition to that, we work very closely with our police departments. We had an incident-free event season, and I think people talk a lot about downtown for a lot of reasons, but we had hundreds of thousands of people at our events downtown, and I don't think there was one significant incident that happened at them. And I think that's a testament to our event hosts, but also to our coordination with the Fargo Police Department, all the technology that they have in place with cameras and the real-time crime center, their on patrols, their electric trikes, and to have an event-free season is really telling. It maybe goes against the narrative that people have out there right now. And so I think it's important to just repeat that, like 100,000 people at the street fair over 3 days, 10,000 people or something like that every Saturday at the market, and we haven't seen any crime involved with that, and so that's been great. We hope to keep that up. We added some things like some additional lighting downtown. We have additional Wingate flock cameras at coordination with the local police department. We have security bollards. We have barricades, and we're looking forward to another safe event season in 2026. And you'll hear all about it every Friday at 11 on Rocky's Downtown Hour. Take care, everybody.